Hi everyone, in this video I prepared another trap in the Italian opening. This is a very advanced trap here that requires very much calculation and brainstorming. I hope you enjoy it. Italian opening is actually full of traps and tactical variations which is very hard to memorize, and there are lots of people who doesn't know it, and since the variations are so sharp and so tactical, there are lots of players who doesn't know it, and if you make a mistake you are simply going to lose the situation. So it's better for you to learn these kind of traps in the openings. Most variations are very typical and the moves are forced, so that you need to know these kind of tactical variations. As you remember, this is the Italian opening. c3 is the main line here. Knight f6, d4. This is the main line of the Italian opening, which I explained it in the Italian opening video of mine. If you didn't read it, you can watch it for the main ideas. You can learn these ideas. e-d4. I have explained that there are two main variations. One is the c-d4 and the other is e5. In this video we are going to check the e5 variation. Here, knight e4. There is also the knight g4 variation, but in this video the knight e4 is our variation of trap here. Now if we can see this knight here, after bishop d5 move, there is no place for this knight to go, because the d6 and f6 squares are controlled by this e5 pawn, and g5 square is controlled by this knight and bishop here, and there is no place to go. But black here tries an interesting sacrifice here, getting this pawn here, because this bishop is attacking to white's king after taking this knight, like this. There are very much tactical variations here. In this video I'm going to check one of them, and in the other videos we are going to check this variation in very detail. Let's see knight g3 move. There are, as I said, other moves like king e1 or bishop e3, like this, or king f1. Let's check the king g3 variation first. gb2 and bishop b2 here. Now if we evaluate the position, white has the control in the center and black is a piece back from the white. So the main line here for black is to get rid of this bishop here, because there is a strong attack for white after knight g5 and rook f1 and to the f7 square, as you can see. So the knight e7 is the main line, although there are other lines like d6, for example, or castle, like this. Let's check the knight e1 variation. Knight g5, and now the rest of the variation is very interesting. Now you can check the variation, and you can see that after the knight d5 taking, this knight here is hanging by this queen, trying to get this knight. So knight f6 sacrifice is the main variation here. This is also very interesting, attacking this queen here and this rook here. So after king f7, the queen d5 check, and getting this bishop gives white a very strong advantage here. For example, king g6, queen c5, and white is now a piece more than black, and has a very strong center position. So this position is good for black. Now black has a very forced variation which even the computer has a lot of time to calculate. Now black is actually winning this position, but this is very hard to see. We need to calculate like 15 moves or something. This is too much harder for a computer, so this is an advanced trap actually. Even the grandmasters, if they don't know it, cannot play this that well. So the main line for black is to castle here. Now this is so interesting because black sacrifices the queen. Let's check what happens. The noticeable thing in this position is that white's king is a bit dangerous. The situation is a bit dangerous for the white's king. It is in danger because the bishop here and the rook here is attacking to the king's side. The rook controls the f file and the f2 square is very weak, but still it's very hard for us to see what's going on. This is the first move, bishop f2 check. And there are two squares, g4 and h3 for white's king here. The king g4 is also possible, but we can now easily calculate that the white's king is now checkmated after several moves. For example, rook f4, king g5 or h5, it doesn't matter for the situation. h6, king g6 and knight e7, king h5 and rook h4, checkmate. This is a very interesting checkmate, and it was a bit hard for us to see. For checkmate, black used all the three pieces coordinately, but the rest of the variation is even more difficult. The king h3 move here, d6, black is now using another piece for the checkmate here. Well, there are again variations. For example, white can play queen g4 or immediately g4 or e6. There are three variations. Let's check all of them. The queen g4 is already checkmated by the knight f4. This is easy to see. g4 here is also checkmated by the knight f4 here, because the knight controls the g2 square here. And the remaining variation is the e6. So what happens now? The knight here supports this e6 pawn. So how should the black continues? As I said, this trap is very advanced and very difficult for calculate. Let's take a moment to see what happens. The knight f4 seems immediately obvious for us, because after that black can get this pawn here and take the other rook to the play, but it's still hard for us to see. Knight f4 is the main variation. King g4 is the only move here, and the knight e6. As I said, even for the computer this position is very hard, but now black simply checkmates the position. Let's check the knight e6 variation first. Bishop e6 check here. There are two squares for black to go, white to go here. Knight g5, and there are ways here to checkmate. Let's, for example, check the rook f5. There are other variations, you can check them by yourselves. For example, black can play h6, which is also checkmating. But let's check this move here. Again, there is only one square to go, and h5, for example. Nice, king h3, and this is checkmating now. It's very interesting for us to see that black is using all of the pieces and the white's king is in the king's hunt. The king is simply hunting. This was the only move. This was, and there are other variations. For example, knight f7 is possible in this position. Rook f7, and then the same thing happens. Even when the white has a queen up, he is losing the position. It's very interesting. There is no solution here from this. The g3 move is also possible. For example, g3, knight d6 check here, king h4. Well, rook f4 can be played because this pawn is now pinning. King g5, knight e6 protecting this square. King h5, g6 check. There is only one square, and now this is forced. Gh4 and bishop e3, checkmate again. None of the white's pieces are helping. Let's check this one again. Now again the g3, knight d6. This is similar to the other variation, like this, for example. And now black is winning, as we saw. Checkmated like this, g6, and like this here. So this variation is very hard to calculate, but if you know this, you can even win and beat a grandmaster, even the computer maybe, because it takes a lot of time to calculate. So this is a very advanced trap you need to be aware of. So thank you for watching this video. In the other videos and the next one, I'm going to explain another trap in the Italian opening, which is again advanced, very advanced actually, like this. So it's very good for us to know these kind of openings and variations, because most of the moves are forced and the consequences are obvious. So you can use these traps in the tournaments to checkmate your opponent, beat them. See you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have fun with chess.